Learning the laws of Tahara, the book of Tahara, the book of purity. And we're dealing about now the purification state of someone who came in contact with a corpse, right? A dead person. They become impure, and the purification process is through the red heifer. So we're at chapter 2. Started it yesterday. Let's continue. Paraduma, the red heifer. So extra stringencies were employed with regard to the purity observed in preparation of offering the red heifer, and great extremes were taken to keep a distance from the ritual impurity associated with the human corpse and all activities associated with its offering. The rationale is that since it is acceptable for a person who immersed that day to bring it, our sages were concerned that people would treat this offering with disdain. Let me explain. To be involved in doing the red heifer, the process of it. So if you were impure yourself and you went to the mikveh that day, so usually you have to wait till nightfall that you can now be completely clean, right, purified, right, from the spiritual impurity. But the law for the red heifer is, we learned that yesterday, that even if you're what's called a tful yom, you just went to the mikvah, but not right in the morning, and it was not nighttime yet, you are allowed to be engaged with the red heifer preparation. You didn't have to wait till nighttime. To eat truma, for example, for a kohen who gets truma, 2% of produce, right, from, because they don't have the field, so they get from people who work the field, right, or own fields. They need to wait till nightfall to be pure to eat truma, right? The foods that are given to them by the farmers, right? But here for the red heifer, you don't have to wait till nightfall. So the sages were concerned that a person is going to treat lightly doing the process of preparing the red heifer because you're not completely pure, because you don't have to wait to nightfall. So a person might deal with the preparation of this and be lackadaisical and not, taking to full concern how to do this because, it's not so serious, because don't have to wait to complete purity, because that's the law for the red heifer, right? Got it?
Loophole?
It's not a loophole. That's the law. No.
Some people might think that.
No. The law is that to be involved with making the red heifer, right? Which is a process. Your purification is sufficient that you went to the mikvah, not waiting to nightfall. So that's more leniency in the law, right? That's a biblical law. That's the law. What will that produce in a person's mind is, so it's not such a serious thing, obviously. The sages were worried about that. Comes rabbinic law, and now is adding a layer to this biblical law. That's the point. Okay? Got it? For this reason, when a kohen who burns it is isolated, because who does the job is kohanim, priests, right? They're doing it. So when they burn, because remember the red heifer gets burnt, right? To ashes. The ashes are put into water. There's a whole process, right? So when he's isolated to a prepared chamber in the temple courtyard, it was called the house of stone, because of all the utensils in it were stone utensils, did not contract impurity. Stone doesn't contract impurity. Metal does, stone doesn't.
Construction of the temple.
We're not talking about the construction of the temple.
They used stone.
We're not talking about the construction of the temple, so let's not go there. Okay? Let's not confuse the issue. Too much information sometimes really is not good, right? That's all we're talking about. Talking about the Kohen who's involved in it. He's burning, so he's got to do it isolated so he doesn't become, because he may be lackadaisical and become impure because thinking, well, whatever, it's not such a serious thing. So therefore, he burns it isolated, right? In the chamber in a temple of the courtyard, it's called the house of stone, where the utensils there are made from stone utensils, so they shouldn't contract impurity because they can't contract impurity, right? He would use stone utensils throughout the 7 days that he is isolated. His priestly brethren would not touch him in order to increase his impurity, because maybe they become impure and they're going to touch him. That might make him impure. Because why? Because they might, in your mind, you might be playing in your head, well, it's not such a serious thing, so that you're right. Is that clear? Okay. Now, for 7 days before burning the red heifer, the kohen who would burn it is isolated from his home. Then he should become impure. He should not do it in a state of impurity, right? Just like a Kohen Gadol, the high priest, is isolated for the sake of the service of Yom Kippur. In other words, it is a very serious thing. There's a leniency in this law. That's a biblical law that the Torah says. Why? Is irrelevant, right? It's not about a why. That's what the law is. That's what the Torah says, right? We learned that yesterday. Right. This requirement was received as part of the oral tradition from Moshe, from Moses. Similarly, he was isolated from his wife, lest he be discovered that she is Nida and he be impure for 7 days. Maybe she was in the menstrual cycle. He had relations with her. That makes him impure. And he has to be in a state of purity over here, right? So all these things were precaution, right? The chamber in which the Kohen would abide for all these 7 days was the northeast portion of the temple courtyard. Let's get our pictures of.
That's the right top. Left top.
This is north and this is east, right? Hold on.
Speak very good English. What you are talking? You are talking out to the temple. You are talking about the temple out. I'm hearing. See this? I don't speak English. Yes. What you are talking now about the temple?
About being clean.
But
About
Oh my gosh.
cleansing.
Oh, here it is. Okay.
When you get
See this little box over here? This is where the Sanhedrin would sit. You see the part of it, the Sanhedrin, the high court is outside because they might be impure. So they would be outside because they might be impure. Right next to it is the chamber of, see, that's the northeast corner. The chamber of the stone. And that's where this Kohen would be there for the 7 days to prepare, right, for the red heifer.
Wow.
Okay?
Mhm.
Got it?
I don't start visualizing.
Well, I gave you visually where it is.
But I'm thinking about the internal and the fridge and this and that, so I don't want to go there at all.
Okay?
Yeah.
If it was positioned there to remind the Kohen that the red heifer is like a sin offering that is slaughtered in the north portion of the temple courtyard, even though the red heifer is slaughtered outside the temple. Why is it the northeast? Because the northern part, all holy stuff was slaughtered in the northern part of the temple here. That's north. So it's in the north. It was not slaughtered there and done there. It was done way outside of the Temple Mount. Right? All the prep is being done here to remind him that it's a severe level of holiness, because the higher level of holiness is all done slaughtered in the northeast. Lesser holiness can be slaughtered anywhere. Okay? Okay. Because even though it's slaughtered outside of the temple, right? Okay. I'm gonna have to stop here because I didn't realize the time. I'd love to continue.
Hope you stay in this wonderful state that you're in all day.
Amen, amen. All right, folks. Amazing stuff. Thank you.
Good Shabbos, everyone.
Good Shabbos.
Bye.
Shabbos. Sunday, God willing. Torah study 6:30. We'll have TRC 8 p.m.
At 8 o'clock?
Yeah.